Today's video is brought to you by SeedsNow.com. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Greenwave TV Alternative Media Television. It is of course May 7th, 2013. I did a video I put out late last night titled The Great Gatsby, which is a full movie review of the upcoming film starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a Warner Brothers picture set to be released in debut on Friday here in the States. It will also be debuting in Cannes. And pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Literally the next day, you take a look here at the Drudge Report, and on the home page, you see that the Dow Jones Industrial Average just hit 15,000. You've got a picture from the movie, a couple of flappers. You can see just the evil in their eyes, you know, just spinning around and around. And I encourage you to watch the movie review. You know, it's funny, a lot of people say, Christopher, you know, we're not concerned about Hollywood or the mainstream media or you know what might be coming out through these outlets, but I beg to differ. I beg to differ because movies, Hollywood is heavily controlled and propagandized by the elite, and it's important that we pay careful attention to the propaganda being spewed to us, the masses. And the better we understand that media, the better we can fight tyranny, and the better, more importantly, the better we can understand how we're being positioned as a society. And I talked about in the movie review, in the film, in fact, you can just go to our website, amtvmedia.com. You can see here the picture with Leonardo DiCaprio to watch it. I really talk about just kind of the gross excess of the Roaring '20s period, and you know the elusiveness of Gatsby himself and how no one really understood him. And then it comes out later in the film and the novel that he's connected to the underworld of bootlegging and illegal activity. He specifically has a business relationship with the Jewish gangster, and just kind of how all of this unravels, and just the excess and the gravitas of the parties and the bubbly and the drinking and the sex and the lies and the deception and the murder, and just kind of that deep underworld that this film and this book, which many perceive to be an American classic, you know, did such a great job and has done such a great job of portraying. And now we have this coming out in Hollywood, very much influencing public opinion with this movie. Releasing this film, moving it from a December release around the Christmas holiday now to this Friday. So very interesting. And you know, you see the Drudge Report covering this, and I basically correlate and talk about the fact how we're in the modern day Roaring '20s right now. This is, you know, Gatsby-esque period in American history, or right before the crash, right before 1929, a decade-long period of just total destruction, not just from a wealth standpoint and people losing everything financially, but just the psychological toll and turmoil that we've seen, you know, many people from that generation, including people of my own family. I mentioned my late grandmother, 93 years old, who died a millionaire, who literally could barely sleep at night because she thought she'd wake up even when she was 93 and perhaps lose everything she had. And that was deeply ingrained into our society. But here we are now, the modern day flappers. April 7th, 2013, Dow 15,000, hitting new all-time record highs on 0% interest rates, and the Fed pumping, and massive trillion-dollar-plus bank bailouts to keep these crony institutions afloat, to make them even bigger than they were before, to totally eradicate capitalism in our society now with the too big to fails, and you know those institutions that we deem can't fail, we just make the rest of the average serfs and peasants pay for through the albatross of debt. The U.S. debt, you know, exceeding trillions and trillions of dollars, $16 trillion are fast approaching and growing, and soon to be, you know, down the line we'll be looking at 20 trillion, $25 trillion national debts into infinity. Will we even get that far before the collapse? And keep in mind, with The Great Gatsby, right after right after the Roaring '20s came the stock market crash of 1929, and also came World War II. You see how nothing's changed, how we're just repeating itself, everything that's going on in Syria and the Middle East. Not only will we get the next financial crash here in the United States and have to bear the brunt of that economic pain and the recklessness of this Gatsby-esque period of American history, but I believe we're already involved and already engaged in and will be dealing with in a very mainstream fashion in the not-too-distant future, World War III. And I put out a video here, you can see here, why Syria is a smokescreen for war, for World War. I encourage you to watch that. And it's funny, you know, people told me we were the crackpots 2, 3, 4 years ago when I said, watch Obama engage Syria in the Middle East. Watch him go invade these countries. Now not only has he invaded Libya, but you have Benjamin Netanyahu along with Western forces invading and attacking Syria because, of course, they have their eyesight on Iran. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, through the falsification of weapons of mass destruction and the propagandization in the propaganda rather of nukes, so that they can target this part of the world, so that we can control oil, so that we can control this massive natural resource, this commodity, and we can control it more importantly in terms of the petrodollar relationship, whereas China and the rest of the players of the rising East are now disengaging from the U.S. dollar relationship with oil. That petrodollar relationship is losing ground. So now the United States must fight a war. We must start bombing and killing innocent civilians to hold on to the reckless nature of how we've mismanaged our balance sheet here in the United States. But what brings me to all this, and I'm backtracking a little bit, is again to show you just how much we are living in the modern day Gatsby era today. Here we have a U.S. markets overview from CNBC. The S&P 500 enters bull market territory, up 20% since November lows. The Dow hits fresh high above 15,000. So here we are just operating on total and utter bullshit. Loose money, loose change, 0% interest rates, bank bailouts. Obama cuts you a check for an $8,000 tax credit if you buy a home. Does anybody remember that we just had a financial crash in 2008 that wiped trillions of dollars off our balance sheet and caused millions of foreclosures and bankruptcies, and much of which the regular average John and Jane on the street is still suffering? And then we have a total juxtaposition with the Gatsbys, the modern day Gatsbys of the world. And I'm going to get to this article. Here you've got pictures of Larry Ellison. Many of you are familiar with him. He's one of the richest people in the world. He is the founder of Oracle, the company that powers much of the internet. He's worth billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. He's also a well-known member of the Bilderberg group. But isn't that a coinky-dinky coincidence? The Bilderberg meeting, of course, will be held in the UK this year. It's coming up in June and not in the not-too-distant future. And here you have, really, the modern-day Great Gatsby, this multi-billionaire, who has just purchased, by the way, 24 properties, nearly 24 properties in the beach community of Malibu. You can see here his buying spree with all these dots here via, I believe, a Google Maps image. He spent an estimated $200 to $250 million on homes here. He's also very famous for purchasing and spending about $500 million for the private island of Lanai in the state of Hawaii, just off the coast of Maui, about a 30-minute ferry ride. Purchasing all of this real estate. One guy, this guy, dozens and dozens of properties. He pays like $8 to $15 million a pop for the home. He has all kinds of real estate all around the world and Northern California, and he just has a real interest here in Malibu. It just really gets him. So he's totally controlling the supply line along the coastline here. He's driving up prices. It's just pretty incredible. One guy owns literally Malibu now. He can pretty much dictate who gets to move into the community, and he can control prices. All of you know, and it's well known that I'm a capitalist and I'm a constitutionalist. Those are two things that I believe in, which is kind of interesting because that makes me, according to the Obama administration, a terrorist now. If you're a capitalist or if you're a constitutionalist, you're now an enemy combatant and an enemy of the state. But I wanted to open the discussion a little bit today too because, capitalism isn't a perfect construct. Although I consider myself a capitalist, and I believe very much so in the cutthroat nature, survival of the fittest nature of capitalism, there's imperfections to it. And I want to kind of bring this to the discussion today. I mean, here you have one guy, one multi-billionaire who literally controls an entire section of Malibu, two dozen homes. He owns an island in Lanai. These people are so unbelievably powerful, it's unfair. I mean, in a lot of respects. And I know that sounds, like, hey, Chris, maybe you sound a little, socialist here. No, but I'm trying to kind of zero in on just the imperfection of just the kind of grotesque nature, where, again, these are the imperfections of capitalism to a certain regard. I mean, we've got children literally dying on the streets here in America that can't get enough food. And you've got this a-hole, so to speak, and, maybe he's a nice guy. I don't know. I've never met him. He's a member of the Bilderberg, controlling and this much power. Like, is that a good thing? Is it a good thing that this guy has that much power? Just a single individual, just kind of dominating the world. And, of course, Bilderberg is going to be held. This is from an article last year, but it's going to be held in the UK this year, of which he is a member, and hopefully we'll be getting a lot of good information on this. But it's insane. Our society is out of control. The Dow at 15,000, no repercussions for any of our mistakes, never having to pay the piper for a debt explosion on the balance sheet here in the U.S. Trillions and trillions of dollars. It's just, where do we... I'm hitting my mic here. Where do we go from here? And honestly, where we go from here, in my honest to God opinion, is we repeat history, much in the same way that we did, right after the Roaring '20s of this excess period of history, which followed the crash of 1929 and followed World War II. How is this any different now? We're just being teed up for the next financial disaster, the next financial implosion, of which all of you, including myself, will bear the disgusting brunt of and will suffer tragically, through trillions of dollars of losses. And then we will all be asked to go fight this friggin' war. We'll be the ones asked to go die overseas to fight World War III. For what? For what? Honestly, so we can, make sure these a-holes like Larry Ellison can buy 24 properties in Malibu, and, President Barack Obama can, attend these Bilderberg meetings along with the Warren Buffetts and these other individuals of the world. And this is just, it's insane. And it's gotten to the point of such excess, and it's so out of control, and it's so tyrannical on so many different levels that, we don't have a constitution anymore. We have no freedom. We have zero freedom. There's no price to pay for any of these bailouts or anything like that. I mean, look at this. The Dow, 15K, new highs. It's just a friggin' joke. And it's operating on thin air and bullshit, and it's disgusting. And at some point in the future, we're going to all have to pay the price for this. You will. Not any of these guys. Not Larry Ellison. Not Barack Obama. Not Warren Buffett. Remember, the Warren Buffetts of the world get bailouts in 2008 through their precious little companies like Goldman Sachs. Billions and billions of dollars from you. Everyone always likes to give Warren so much friggin' credit. Like, what a great investor. No, this guy is a bailout a-hole. Here he is. Oh, yeah, I'm just a regular guy, multi-billionaire, but I'll take your bailout money, America. Thanks for the multi-billion-dollar injection while you suffer, while you go through foreclosure, while you lose your business, while you go through bankruptcy, etc., etc. So I think I've ranted enough today. Get this message out. Make sure to like us on Facebook. Join our mailing list. You can find all of our videos here. You can invite your friends. Connect with us and follow us on YouTube. Get this out to the viewing public. Please retweet our content, our videos. Get it out to your social media networks like Reddit, popular forums and websites, and embed our video across the internet. That's an excellent way that you can help get our content to more eyeballs and to more people. I really appreciate it. As always, hard-hitting and in your face, I'm Christopher Green. Stay tuned. We'll be broadcasting our live radio show 3 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm looking forward to it. Peace.